So now this would be how you replace the print head on Epson 1500V. V is marked for wireless. So let's start it up, and first we need to call the head in this position, which is position for cartridge replacement. You have to wait a bit. So you see now it signalizes all the cartridges are counted down or wasted, but not really. It's just a software counter, because if you can hear there is ink inside the cartridge, and we have a couple of cartridges here that have no ink inside at all. This one is empty. Also, I think yeah, this one is empty also. So we will show you how to replace the head, and also while we're at it, we're gonna check if this middle channels with empty cartridges are okay, because when first time when the ink goes through the head, it's necessary to have the torn of the head covered with ink, and since these cartridges have no ink at all, they're completely dry, we're gonna check the state of the head in this middle part. So let's go on and pull the head out. So this is the position where you replace your cartridges. We're gonna pull them out. So these two have ink inside, but we'll need to check the state of the head. So now in this position we need to cut the power off. We won't be doing it with the switch here, but we'll pull out the power cable here like this. So there's no current flowing now through the motor over here, so the magnetic field is off, so you can now move the carrier with hand. So first you have to do, you have this plastic cover over here that is holding the cables, the flat cables inside the slot. So you need to pull these two hooks up like this. So like this, you pull the hook up, and this one also up. And it's good to, you have this small hook over here, it's good to cut that off, because when you're pulling the cover up, you're also pulling, this hook is beneath the flat cable, so you're also pulling the cable. So its suggestion is to cut that off, just to make the things easier. So you do it with cutting or some other pliers, right? And so now this is the tricky part. The principle of how you replace the print head here is similar to 1400, and by the looks of it, the printer looks more like L1800, but the principle of replacement is more similar to 1400, and that this is the tricky part, when you need to remove these contacts for the board of the CIS, if you will be placing, or you already have CIS inside, or contacts for the cartridges. So each cartridge has a chip, and chip goes on the contact. So we'll have to pull that out. It also has two hooks on each side, one on the right. so you have to release it, hold the board in. All right, so somebody somebody was already pulling this board out. And how do I know that? Because the hooks are torn. So let me just show you over here. This is the similar carrier for the electronics. So you have this hook over here. So if we had it over there, you would need to pull it backwards a bit to release it, then pull the complete board carrier with the board up. So, but somebody has already been tampering with this one, so maybe that's why it's signalizing that there's no cartridges inside. We're gonna check that out to see. We actually got this printer also for repair, so maybe that's the reason why this isn't working. But let's just stick with the head for now. When you remove the contact board, put it aside somewhere. You have 3 screws which you need to unscrew. Those are original, because often you run into non-OEM screws, but these are original, and that's good. And you have these 2 cables you have to unplug from the head. You have the smaller one and the bigger one, so let's unplug this. And I already see one mistake over here, so probably this head was probably replaced somewhere in the past, and what you can see here is that the second pin over here has been twisted to the back, so probably there's no contact over here, so printer might be signalizing error. It starts all right, but it signalizes the cartridges are missing, even if the 4 cartridges are completely full, but it signalizes that the cartridges is missing. So my opinion, from what I can tell, is if this twisted pin goes to the back and touches some other pins over here, it could cause a short circuit, and that short circuit is transferred to the motherboard, and the motherboard burns out. So probably or the part on the motherboard that recognizes the ink cartridges burn out. So probably, most likely, that's the problem here. So, but we're now gonna continue to with the replacement of the head, and we're gonna check and what's the state of the head. So as you can see, this cable is okay, it's completely clean, but this one has a twisted pin which probably caused the short circuit, and the part on the board for recognizing the cartridges is burned, so we're gonna have to sort that out also. Actually, the boards can be fixed, the electronics on the motherboard can be fixed, and that's probably what we're gonna have to do. But let's see what's the state of the head. How do we do that? You first take a bit of an alcohol in the syringe, put it on the torn, pull it up. So if you have any ink, if the ink goes up, that probably means that that channel is okay. If you have a vacuum, then probably your channel you've put the syringe on is clogged. so far so good from what I can tell. Even these channels that had no ink seem to be okay. All right, so the ink we've pulled out, we're gonna throw that out, and we need to clean the head from below a bit to release any clogs from beneath. If the printer was standing idle longer time without printing. All right, and now we're gonna clean that up. We are gonna push the alcohol through the head. So what we are expecting are curtains of alcohol flowing through the nozzle. So we are gonna see the curtain over here. Don't know if you can see it. Maybe if it would be easier if we had any light, but okay. So yeah, this is almost, it's not 100% clean, but it really doesn't have to be 100% clean. It's good if you are 80 or 90%. It does need some cleaning because there are some nozzles missing, but for the most part this head is okay. And we're gonna have to check if the electronics on the head itself is okay, because sometimes the short circuit could affect the electronics on the head itself also. So it can happen that the burnt electronics on the head also transfer the short circuit to the motherboard. So if you have burned electronics on the head, could burn your motherboard also. We had a couple of situations like that, so we're gonna have to check if everything's okay. So this one cyan is a bit more bit less nozzles over there, but could be cleaned. It does clean with time. So now you see we have a almost full curtain, but I'm gonna spray it one more time just in case. But all of the channels are pretty good. There are a few nozzles missing here or there, but nothing too problematic. Maybe this first one needs some more cleaning. Yes, this one is pretty. Maybe a bit more to that one too, to clean it off a bit more. All right. Let's check this one. This one is okay. It's the black channel. We need to have a good black, so we do have it with this print head. If there's some alcohol in this tub, be sure to pick it up. All right. Okay. All right, so we got this head. This is a pretty good head, not 100%, but it's still pretty good and very usable. So now let's see. We're gonna put the test head inside the printer, and that will tell us if the electronics on the motherboard of this printer has burned out. But first, what we need to do is to straighten up this pin that got folded back. Okay, I think I got it. Right. I did get it, but it's still, as you can see, it's not very stick to the bottom, or this carrier plastic, and that's not really good, because you can put inside another head, but you have to be very careful when this happens, and there's no guarantee if you even plug it in as you should be plugging it in, that it won't fold again somewhere left or right, and that's really not what we want, because that could cause a short circuit. And probably what we're gonna have to do is to replace these cables, because this will only just cause us new problems. But let's try with one test head, and if the electronics on the printer is okay, we should be able to see a couple of cartridges recognized over here. So now you see, when I pushed the cable inside, I still don't know if the pin remained straight or folded back, so I don't know that not now. So probably what we're gonna have to do is to replace this head cable. So as I was saying, if we do have some cartridges recognized, that would mean that the motherboard, the main motherboard, is okay. But if we don't, if we still have all these LEDs lighted up, that means that the motherboard can't recognize any of cartridges. So that means that we have to repair the motherboard, which can be done also, and or the other option is to replace it with another. So let's see what's gonna happen now. So this is the test head. The test head we put inside because we are 100% sure that the electronics on the test head are good. So now we have good electronics on a head, and we're supposing that the pin remained straight on the cable. And so now the only thing left is for motherboard to check to recognize at least one cartridge. So if it does that, we're good. We don't have to repair anything with the motherboard. And if it doesn't, we have to either replace the motherboard if we have a spare part, but we do have a spare part, but probably if you encounter problem like that, you won't be having any spares at home, so you will have to send the motherboard somewhere to the electronic shop to repair it. So let's see what's gonna happen now. So now printer is driving the head back in its start position and doing the initialization. Yeah, so as you can see, still the problem remains. All the LEDs are lighted up, so that would mean that the motherboard can't recognize any of cartridges. One thing we can maybe still try to do is we can put inside some other cartridges for a change, but it's not a cartridge problem no more, it's a motherboard problem. And one part on the motherboard that recognizes the cartridges is burned, so we're gonna have to fix that.